Novak, congratulations. If you could first of all give us your assessment of tonight's victory over Roger Federer.
Well, it was probably the toughest start I could get for this tournament, especially considering the scheduling that I had, you know, playing 2 days ago in Paris-Bercy finals. And then, you know, playing Federer here, where he had a terrific record in the past, winning several titles. It was always going to be a tough match for both of us, and you know, I didn't know how I will respond physically, and also the conditions I find them faster than Bercy and find them different than from what I played the whole last week. So it took some adjustment, but I'm happy with the way I played. You know, of course, Roger was fighting through, and the second set was very close. I was not satisfied with my serve. I basically played with no serve, no first serves, the whole second set. And but you know, when I needed to in the third, I served well, and just happy that I overcome this challenge.
Novak, how physically demanding did you find that tonight, just a couple of days after Paris?
Well, it's very physical, you know. And look, I knew what's expecting me when the scheduling went out. I could assume last year that I can be in this position, you know, if I go far in Bercy, and that's what happened. It happened the same for Federer, who even played more tournaments in a row than me, and well, that's the way it is this year, and next year we're going to have a week between, which is going to be better for the top players, obviously.
Novak, here. You said you find the court slower than Paris-Bercy or faster?
I just said it was faster, yes.
Faster here?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Novak, how did you manage to handle yourself so well out there today with all the support for Roger and a Davis Cup-like atmosphere?
Well, it's not the first time for me to play in this particular atmosphere, in these big matches. I did have my own supporters, but you know, for me it was important to direct all the concentration in what I need to do on the court. Of course, it was intense, it was emotional, up and down, but I lost my my calmness. I have to say, in the middle of the second set, and 2-all, I had 40 love. I lost that game for no reason, and he started playing better. You know, he started making less mistakes, and well. You know, I never expected that I'm going to have an easy straight set win, and you know, he put up a fight, and I'm just glad I managed to go all the way through.
Novak, your next match is against Del Potro. Which is the difference between the last match and the next one, the last match in Shanghai? Yeah?
Well, you know, obviously the difference is that this is the last week, not including the Davis Cup final that I play next week. This is the last week of the official ATP season, and you know, both of us, and I mean all of us players are coming in, you know, exhausted after a long season, but we all have extra motivation to do well here, because this is by some standards and quality of the tournament, probably the strongest field after the 4 most important ones, and those are Grand Slams. So this is where you want to do well, and this is where every match is played on a high quality, and you need to be on top of your game. So for me, the good thing is that I have a day off, and I just found out that I'm playing in the evening, which is great. It's the best possible schedule that I can get in this moment. And I'm going to do everything to recover and get ready for that one.
Novak, back here. I appreciate that you've played Roger on a number of occasions, but does it make any difference having played him 3 days ago to playing him now, as far as winning that and coming into this one? So what I'm getting at is so close to one another.
Well, I mean, I cannot say anything further than that the fact is that this is the schedule this year, and I have to adjust to it. And as I said before, I was getting ready mentally, also physically, for you know, a tough week in Paris, and then back-to-back coming here. And you know, all the quarterfinalists in Paris were the 8 players that are actually taking part in this tournament. So you know, after I finished match with Roger in semifinals last week in Paris, I found out that he's going to be my first opponent here. So it's was not the best news, but still, you know, it's what it is, and you know, I knew that I'm going to have to play top players here, and that's no difference.
May I ask your reaction to the decision by CAS today to cut Victor Troicki's ban from 18 to 12 months? Is that good news, or are you still angry that he's got something?
Well, I got, you know, a little bit of paperwork here done for because I knew you were going to ask me about it. And first of all, Victor is a very good friend of mine, and I know him since I was 8 years old. And I've been involved very much in this case of his, and you know, I've been talking to him. I've been talking to his agent, obviously, and following the scenario that was going on in last 5 months. And it's a very bad news that we got, you know, for him especially, and for me, for all of us who are close to him. And but I think it's just not the bad news for him. It proves again that this system of WADA and anti-doping agency does not work. And why am I saying that is because, first of all, you know, as a tennis pros, our job is to play, of course, tennis and respect all the rules and know all the rules of our sport. But when you are randomly selected to go and provide the test, blood test or urine test, the DCO, actually the representatives of WADA or anti-doping agency who are there in the tournament, are supposed to give you the clear indications and explain you the rules and regulations and what are the severe consequences or penalties that you might undertake or you might have if you fail to provide the test. And the representative, she didn't do that in his case. So first of all, he is not positive on any banned substance, and I'm not saying that it's completely not his fault, but the way it was is that he had a medical past where he was fainting if he feels bad that when he provides the blood test. So he asked if it's possible to avoid providing blood tests that day, and he would come the next day. Not because he wanted to hide anything, or, you know, he just felt bad. And she did not clearly present him all the severe consequences that he will have if he avoids that. She told him that he needs to write a report and that it will be just fine. And because of her negligence and because of her unprofessionalism, he is now off the tour for 1 year. And now it makes me nervous as a player, you know, to do any kind of test. And I heard Andy Murray also said that he wants to take some actions into, you know, into making sure that he has the independent laboratory also following his tests that he provides to WADA and IDTM. And that says enough. I mean, I don't have trust in them anymore. I don't have trust what's going on. I don't know if tomorrow the representative, the DCOs who are representatives of IDTM and WADA there at the tournaments, because of their unprofessionalism, because of their negligence, and because of their inability to explain the rules in a proper way, I don't know if they're going to misplace the test that I have or anything worse than that. I mean, it's just, for me, the whole procedure of the court cases is totally against the player and player's rights. First of all, I don't know how much you know, but once you're accused, right, you have to go to the court that is in London, actually. It's called International Anti-Doping Tribunal, which is financed directly from IDTM, from WADA. So whatever the situation you are in, and looking at the history, there is no one player that won the court case in that particular court. So first of all, you're going to lose the time, as it happened in Chile's case. Actually, I talked with him last week, it was proven in the end because they found apparently something that he was positive on, the banned substance, and then in the end, it turns out that they didn't find it in the blood. So what happened? Who is going to be responsible for that? Whose duty is going to be that he lost 4 or 5 months of points, money, everything? That is his job, that is his life. Who is going to be answering for that? Now, in the Victor's case, he's going to be sanctioned until July next year, and this lady, the DCO, the representative that was there that day, she's going to come back tomorrow to the job. And nobody's going to answer for that. Only him. Why? And in the official media announcement, you can see that, I don't know if you read it, that the tribunal in Lausanne, which was where Victor appealed for this court case, actually stated that that it was a huge misunderstanding, and that they accuse, I'm going to read it, sorry, I don't want to miss something. Okay, 04, 0, okay. I have to, sorry, but this is for me, is just, it's total injustice. I mean, it's just incredible. And so the tribunal in Lausanne is stating that the rules are not good because DCO, the representative, should be obliged to call some ATP staff member in cases like this. And they suggest that the rules should change. I mean, and after this kind of announcement and after this particular situation, you know, the only one who is suffering here is a player. ATP, who is supposed to be an association of players, of tennis professionals, so who's supposed to be the governing body and the association that stands behind the players, are not going to answer on this announcement, are not going to do anything for Victor. So Victor is there by himself, and tomorrow can be anybody else. Cilic was there in this situation. Tomorrow, I don't know who, just because of the negligence and because of the unprofessionalism of these representatives, of so-called professionals, you know? And for me, this is just another big reason, another example of that there are some certain things that have to be changed, definitely. I mean, this is just also because I'm emotionally, you know, connected to the Victor, because I have a long history with him. We're in friendship, you know, since we were 9 years old. But also, from my point of view, looking at the whole scenario that happened, it's just, it doesn't give me any trust in that. I mean, in them, in the whole procedure, in the whole rules, in anything. That's it. That's my statement. Sorry, but I mean, that's what I had to do. Not just because of him, but because of the sake of the players and because of the sake of the sport, because it's just ridiculous.
Sort of along those lines in Novak, we don't have a leader of the tour and haven't had it for a number of months. So is that a role that might be able to address some of these issues? Do you think it needs to be filled? What are your thoughts on that?
You know, the general situation in tennis is too complicated, because there is an ATP, ITF, Grand Slams, IDTM. I mean, so many different governing bodies, associations that are independent in a way. And that it's so complicated to change anything or to move towards some kind of positive solutions for players or for any other party. That, you know, you have the player like Nadal who just says, I had enough, I don't want to have any part in this. And when Ljubicic was a president of council, he actually took the initiative and sat down with all the top players. I was number 3 at that time. He spoke to me, to Murray, to Nadal, to Federer, to 4 of us, and said, listen, guys, I think you should be involved in the sport because your voice is very important here. You make the show, and you should be part of decision-making, and you should express your wish, your desire, your thoughts in order to improve the sport, for, you know, in order to get it for better of your interest and, you know, just for better of the sport in general. And there were some things. Brad Druitt, I have to say, you know, with all respect for him and what he has done tremendous work in trying to improve and trying to, you know, listen to the players. But the system itself is so complex and it's not working for players. Because ATP is 50% players, 50% tournaments, right? And so every time you want to vote for something, you have to get a supermajority of votes. That means 4 against 2, which is impossible because you're going against the tournaments, and tournaments have their own rights, and it comes down to the president. And players have no time or energy to spend on these things. And then they involve their agents, and it gets complicated, and then gets you know, prolonged, and whatever, and then politics. We don't have time for politics. And the structure itself right now, it doesn't go in the favor of players. I mean, I don't want to sound like somebody that is complaining all the time. I'm sure there are so many good things about this sport, but there are also many things that can be improved, that can go in the right way, but it doesn't happen because we don't have enough say. We don't have enough power within the present structure. Exactly, exactly. For example, there were particular situations in the past few years where CEO has made a decision that was not in the interest of the players, because he has the right to, you know, to make a decision whatever he thinks is right for the sport, which I respect. But again, we have to depend from him, and we as players, which I think we are the show makers, you know, the ones that without us there is no tournaments. This is not possible. Of course, we have to have a little bit of a stronger background, you know, stronger representatives with a stronger say in those votes, and that's not happening.